So again, be interesting to see how Bruce Arians adopts his, I guess his play style offensively. Him and Byron Leftwich out there. So if I'm just excited to see how they adjust with or without Antonio Brown being out there. Again, the Bucs like to thrive throwing the deep ball. They do it very often. So we're going to see. And anyway, so I think, again, I like the Packers to win this game. As bad as it hurts me to say that, because I did predict back in like week 7 or week 8, whenever it was. I'll have to go back and check on one of my clips. I did predict the Bucs to be my sweetheart to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So still, obviously, a great shot that happens. I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers right now, who's just looks to be in as good or better form than he's ever been in his career. So, all right, now let's move over to the AFC side. The two extraterrestrial quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Man, all right. So once again, these two teams, they matched up in week 6 as well, right? Bad weather conditions there, rainy. I think some slight wind up there in Buffalo. So we saw Josh Allen struggle to throw the football down the field. He was very inefficient. I think he finished the day with like 175 yards and some change maybe, and 2 touchdowns. But this version of Josh Allen that we're seeing right now, it's no secret to any of you watching this video. Very different than what we saw in week 6, right? So I think if the Bills try to do the same thing and approach, like we know what they're going to do on offense. It's not a secret, right? They're going to line up 11 personnel. They're going to try to throw the ball deep. It's going to be heavy play action. Josh Allen creating and extending plays with his legs off the blitz when pressured, and him and Stephon Diggs just connecting. They're running those comeback routes perfectly. You watch those replays every time a ball to Stephon Diggs is completed. I guarantee you 50% of them are going to be him. Basically, as soon as he's getting off the line of scrimmage, he's incredibly crafty with his footwork there as well. One of the best in the game. Just a complete technician. But getting off, Taji can tell you more about that than I can. Getting off the football, getting the DB, the corner, whoever's shadowing him in that particular play, once he turns his hips, he's just reading it. It's boom. He's breaking down and breaking right back to the football. And it's Josh Allen has the arm strength to react. Even if he sees it late, he still gets it to him. And he's putting it in places where only Stephon can go get it. And then, there's times, again, how they consistently beat teams over the top is they're kind of expecting that comeback to happen, and all of a sudden it doesn't. And next thing you know, you're running through Stephon Diggs' dust trail 7 yards behind him. So the Bills are going to be able to move the football here. The Chiefs are obviously going to be able to move the football in this game too. And obviously, I guess I don't know if it's necessary to say, but little insider nugget here, little secret. Patrick Mahomes is going to play. He's playing in this game. There was never a chance that he wasn't going to play in this game, regardless of the NFL was going to figure out a way for it to happen. All right. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But what got lost, to me was funny, like what got lost in his, with his, the incident that knocked him out of the playoff game last week, the concussion thing. What's lost in that is before that happened, he was laboring and limping around the field with what they said was an injured toe. So turf toe, I don't know the extent of that, but to me, that's the much bigger, impact on this game than whatever is going on with his concussion. But he's been out there on the field. I've seen video clips on Twitter and stuff of him just, jogging and, running through the warm-up lines and, kind of just running around, going through walkthroughs, making throws, looking like normal Patrick Mahomes. So, again, I think, he's probably going to be 100%, close to 100%, if not 100%. But even if he's not, it's the toe that's the bigger factor here. So be curious to see how it holds up. Hopefully he is a full go and isn't impacted at all by it. So, but then again, even if it is, right, it's a toe. So, to me, it's nothing that they're a little Toradol and cortisone can't fix. Just he'll get his pregame shots and he'll be feeling like MVP Mahomes out there again. So, but yeah, so again, this matchup obviously exciting. I'm not going to go crazy deep into the X's and O's here, but because there's really nothing really to say. It's just two of the best offenses going at it. Literally, I think so. The Bills and the Chiefs, or the Chiefs and the Bills, finished respectively 1 and 2 on the season in the regular season in terms of total offense. So Chiefs just north of 400 and the Bills just south of 400 yards of total offense per game. So I'm expecting some fireworks. I'm expecting much more of the same. And again, the Bills, they're battle tested. They just played 2 top 10 defenses to get to this game. So I don't think as good as the Chiefs defense has been, just kind of creating things and getting creative with Chris Jones up front and Tyrann Mathieu. There's nothing that the Bills haven't already seen that they're not going to be ready for. And, we already know what Bryant Daboll has done and basically just allowing Josh Allen to kind of do his thing. But the offensive philosophy hasn't ever really wavered. They know they can't run the football, but they don't care. They're letting Josh Allen drop back 45 times. And, he's tough to stop because he's so versatile with his arm strength coupled with his ability to move the chains with his legs. And so another thing too, though, I think I was doing some research on this as well. It's a huge bonus for the Bills offense. They've got their right guard, John Feliciano, who actually tore his pec in the preseason, was out until I think it was week 9. He missed the first 8 games of the season. So he missed their first matchup. And, just having that interior stability on a team that is going to dial up blitzes, that is going to try and create pressure on Josh Allen, because that's really what you have to do to affect him. Having a guy like John Feliciano, who's one of the leaders and one of the best graded linemen on that unit up there, that helps a lot. And I know that's comforting for Josh Allen, knowing he's got that guy back in this matchup too. So that obviously bodes well. But to me, the biggest thing is how do you attack the Chiefs defensively if you're the Bills? We saw in week 6, the Chiefs did in that specific game what they hadn't really done all year. And the Chiefs, again, one of the more pass-heavy teams, I think the second most pass-heavy offense, just, second only to the Bills. But what they did in that matchup, right, is Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Patrick Mahomes, they're so smart and so good at adapting their game plan. I was looking at that game, that replay. I watched that one last night too, the week 6 recap, and their linebackers, Matt Milano was also out for the Bills that game. But Tremaine Edmonds, and I'm not sure who the backup was, Tremaine Edmonds and whoever their backup, and those guys were playing 7-8 yards off the ball. So and then they had too high safety look playing behind those already sagging linebackers. So they were obviously kind of petrified going into that matchup and basically saying to the Chiefs, hey, we're not going to let you beat us over top. And so what did the Chiefs do? They ran the ball 46 times for over 250 yards and just dominated up front and dominated the line of scrimmage and just controlled the clock. And literally the Bills, they didn't have a chance. So I think you don't beat the Chiefs. You don't beat the Chiefs by being conservative defensively. I talked about how the Browns' run game might favor them last week, and how like a team that can run the football, how I think that's the way that you do it that way. But from a defensive standpoint, you've got to do what teams try to do to Josh Allen. The same thing to Patrick Mahomes. You can't be fearful of them beating you over top. You've got to just match their wits, their game plan, and try to go create pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do if you're sagging off too high safeties and you're outnumbered in the box. They're going to take advantage of that way too. So you're going to, if you don't play aggressive against this Chiefs offense, you're not going to win. And I went back and looked at some numbers. So in 8 Patrick Mahomes losses, like in games that he started that he's lost, that's happened 8 times. No team has scored, or it's on one occasion, one of those 8 games, did the opponent not score 30 points. So that aggressive philosophy that I'm talking about defensively, it also is the same way offensively too, but it's not as much of a talking point because we know what the Bills are going to do. They're pretty one-dimensional, so that's ultimately what scares me about them moving on. But I think that if they're able to protect Josh Allen, they're going to have a chance to win this game. But so again, being aggressive and trying to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and then also adopting the same philosophy. Don't try to keep the ball away from the Chiefs. Just go attack. It's not about how long do you hold the football. It's how often do you not kick field goals and punt. It's you got to get in the end zone is the bottom line here. So I want to see an aggressive style of philosophy from a play calling standpoint, and I have no hesitation in believing that Brian Daboll will do that. So again, we're going to see more of the same from the Bills offense. It's just a matter of can they get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, which seems kind of obvious, right? Duh. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. Got to alter him. But yeah, I think that's all I got. So again, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes here. And again, I hate the fact that I have to even pick one of these teams to lose. But yeah, obviously, I like the Chiefs to get back to the Super Bowl and have a chance to repeat. So talked about it too. Bucks, Packers, the early game. How does the weather affect the play calling, the game style, the offensive philosophy? No team has ever, or I guess at least in the modern era of football since 2000, I don't think any team in the NFL has won 3 consecutive road games with that third coming against the number 1 seed to get to the Super Bowl. It's never happened. And also, I've also been saying this all year too. It's weird, like kind of betting against my own pick to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, which was the Bucks. No team has ever hosted their own Super Bowl before, and the Super Bowl this year is obviously in Tampa Bay. So how crazy would that be if the Bucks were able to win this game and Tom Brady goes back home to Tampa and they play that? That's an incredible storyline. But one or two other things real quick. Vita Vea. For some reason, no one's talked about the impact that guy has. One of the best interior defensive tackles and run stoppers in football. He broke his leg in Week 5 against the Bears. And he's actually, I think they're saying, Hunter Sands was saying he's active, expected to play in this game, which is nuts. So if a 350-pound man, just think about that, with a completely broken ankle, all that weight just bearing on that surgically repaired left ankle, and he's returning in the same season and potentially playing in this game, is just a really cool storyline, a really, really fun topic to think about. And so if he does play, watch out. I mean, don't expect anything to get going very often, or at least efficiently for the Packers moving the ball on the ground. That's going to be some trouble. So I hope I do see that. Actually, I want to see his impact, and if he's able to come in and kind of what kind of shape he's in, obviously without being able to do a whole lot. I don't know. I can't really see him playing a bunch of snaps this in his first game back. Given his size and just the impact that all that weight probably has on his leg. I don't know. I think they're going to kind of be careful there, but we'll see. And another thing too that I also wanted to talk about on the first part when I was breaking down the Bucks game, and I'll close with this, is Antoine Winfield, to me, has to be the MVP defensively of the season right now. Aside from Devin White, it's Antoine Winfield, and Sands knows this. I was raving about this guy just in the draft evaluation process going into last season. He was like a guy that I just salivated over, wanted the Cowboys to go get, just because I loved, he's kind of undersized, so he plays with that swagger, that chip on his shoulder. And you can kind of see the reckless abandon when he's just, coming in, making all these, he's just flying around the football and making tackles left and right. And, again, his weight, I think he's, 5'9", 180 plus pounds, 190 pounds maybe. I'll have to double check. Maybe he's 200. I don't know, but when he's on the field, you feel him. And so the game-changing point, I tweeted this last week right after this happened. Antoine Winfield Jr. narrowly misses an interception. It goes right through his hands against the Saints. Just slips right through his hands. I think it was either the very next play or 2 plays later, and the Bucs were down at this point. They were losing. 2 plays later, he's beat on a dig, a deep dig to Jared Cook across the middle that was going to go for about a 20-plus yard gain, a splash play offensively. At the time would have been the biggest play of the game for the Saints. He gets beat, but he doesn't give up. After the ball's completed, right? We saw what happens. He's in position. He hustles to the ball, punches it out of Jared Cook's hands. Saints turn the football over. Bucs go march down and score. And I literally tweeted, or I can't remember if I tweeted or texted. I said the game's over. That's it. Like this is the break that the Bucs needed. They turn the football over. It's a wrap. And that's what turned out to be. So credit to Antoine Winfield Jr. Love his game. Love what the Bucs bring defensively. Can't wait to see how it plays out. But I think that's all I got for you guys. So I will catch you on the Super Bowl preview next week at some point. Maybe next Friday, same time. Be looking forward to that. But yeah, that's all I got.